Hey everybody, sitting out here enjoying the sun today, pondering on so many things. Let's talk about reflecting on your journey so far to keep you inspired and want to keep going and continue on. So, have you ever taken the time to actually go back and think about all the stuff that you've been through? All of the stuff that you've survived? It's time to really acknowledge the journey that you're on. What about praising yourself for making it through to where you are today? That's pretty miraculous. Have you given yourself a pat on the back for being so courageous lately? Sometimes when we look back on our growth, we can actually, in the whole journey of life and all the things we've been through over time, we can actually be shocked on that we've made it this far and that we've got it, that we've become who we've become in that time, and everything we've been through has contributed to who we are today. And so that's really important, not to ignore these factors. We're always worried about who we're going to become and what we're going to do and that we're not good enough, and it's all about going forward. But so much importance is in looking back and understanding that growth isn't really linear. It isn't. But all of the stuff that you've been through, it has wisdom inside. It has so many things that you've learned to do over time. When you take time to look back at what you've been through, you can also see different patterns emerging. You can also see how the decisions that you're making today, you based on different experiences that you've been through. And you can also identify what worked and what didn't work. And when you look at those things of what didn't work, you can surely gather up all that wisdom. And, I got to get out of the sun here. It's blinding me, but I'm in my little egg chair and I haven't put the cushions on because it's not quite time yet. It's just getting beautiful out, but you can see the snow in the background. I think the most important thing is just seeing that your history is like a compass. It has given you direction and it can give you guidance going forward, like a compass showing you where your true north is by all of the different things, because these past experiences, they shape everything that you've done and up to this point, and they'll also shape your future decisions that you're going to be making. So I think it's so important to look back and be inspired and say, wow, I've been through all that and came out on the other side. I just see that there's so much strength in there that we don't acknowledge. I want you to think back to the times and the events and the things that you've been through and have happened that have shaped who you are today. Those moments where it really took courage and bravery to do something, say something, try something new. I think that when you do look at that, you will see growth over time, and you will just see that all of these things that you've done and choices you've made and decisions took courage. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for that. We like to rather beat ourselves up and think about all the things we haven't done and how we're not good enough, and we never reflect on those important things that we had the courage to do. All of these things create turning points. When you decided one thing, you went one way. Remember those books that we read as kids, or Choose Your Own Adventure? Well, if you made this choice, you would have went that way. And because the choice you made, you went this way on the path that there was a fork in the road. And every single thing piles onto the next thing and the next thing, and layers. That's what I was trying to say. Layers onto the next thing. And it creates this momentum, this ripple effect in us that's how we grow. It's super powerful. And a lot of times we don't sit there and acknowledge all the lessons that we learned throughout this process. We don't acknowledge that the vulnerability it took, the courage it took. And a lot of times too, we tend to forget that our journey along the way has inspired other people. Other people, even though that they may or may not have said that to you, your journey has inspired somebody. And just know that your ongoing journey is going to inspire somebody else. So just to never give up. Look how far you've come. So now as you do things and you have setbacks in your life and you come across hard decisions, you can look back on everything you've done, everything you've faced, and everything you've came through on the other side and say, I can do this. This is amazing. I have broken through so many different barriers. I've broken through so many different beliefs. I have challenged my own inner narrative so many times. I've released what no longer served me so many times. And I continued to take a different path and a different path and a different path. And this has brought you here to where you are today. And this is a critical point, a turning point in your life where you can see the fork in the road again and decide which direction you're going to go. What about the people? What about all the people that you have come across in your life that have taught you something? Think about all the people. I'm sure you can think of good and bad people and, well, not bad people, but people who behave badly. And they have all taught us something. Like every single relationship, whether it be family or friend or partner, spouse, whatever, they've all taught us so many things. So many things about ourselves, so many ways of being, ways of thinking, what we want, what we don't want, just so many things. What we need for ourselves to feel safe and supported. And so those relationships too are all important to look back and say, look how much I've learned from these. And now at this point in my life, I know what I want. I certainly, and even if I don't know what I totally want, I do know what I don't want. So when you're having a rough day or something, I just want you to really glean some wisdom from your darkest days. Wisdom from, go back and think of difficult times, all of the light that you've discovered within those times of maybe despair or hardship, all the challenges that you've faced and what you've been through. Not all the time are we always happy with the decisions that we made. A lot of times we're not happy with those, and we can learn from that and say, okay, I know that I made that decision. I wish that I didn't. I can't change it, but when I have a future decision, I know how I want to react and respond. So all of these things can bring you inspiration towards the future. And so whenever you're having a hard time, just reflect back on everything you've been through and give yourself a little credit and have a wonderful journey. And remember, keep it fun, keep it lighthearted. We only get one shot at life. Like, this isn't some warm-up round. This is it, one round, one time at life. So make what you can of it. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.